a fashion icon, a rule breaker, a court jester, and a visionary. Chances are, you've never seen Leonardo da Vinci like this before. At the turn of the 15th and 16th centuries, he amazed audiences not only with his incredible mastery of painting, but also with his involvement in scandals that were controversial in the Christian world. Despite everything, Da Vinci was recognized as a great master during his lifetime and rose to the heights of high society. How did Leonardo, born out of wedlock, achieve such greatness? Why has a man who left behind only about 20 paintings been ranked among the greatest geniuses in history? Is it true that Da Vinci invented the tank? And what happened to his remains? Subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon. Now, let's decode the Da Vinci Code. The theory of everything. The student surpassed the teacher. Leonardo was born in the village of Anciano, near the Italian town of Vinci, in 1452. As the illegitimate son of a peasant woman and a hereditary notary, he couldn't count on a good education, nor an inheritance or career from his father. Contrary to common belief, the well-off father did not abandon the boy and took his 5-year-old son with him to Florence, the intellectual hub of Italy at the time. Although the law barred Leonardo from studying to become a notary, his father still provided him with a basic education. However, reading, writing, and arithmetic came hard to the boy. He was constantly distracted. Later in life, Da Vinci would refer to himself as a student of experience. He recalled how, during childhood walks, he would observe the flight of birds for hours or study the fossilized remains of ancient whales in caves, sketching everything that fascinated him. At age 14, Leonardo's father showed his drawings to one of his clients, the renowned artist and sculptor Andrea del Verrocchio. Verrocchio's workshop, by the way, received commissions from none other than Lorenzo de' Medici, the ruler of Florence. Impressed by the boy's talent, Verrocchio agreed to take Leonardo in as an apprentice and teach him the art of goldsmithing, sculpture, and painting. Leonardo quickly absorbed his master's teachings and soon became a full-fledged member of the workshop. In his 20s, Leonardo was entrusted with completing parts of Verrocchio's Painting the Baptism of Christ. According to legend, the angel and background landscape painted by Leonardo were so superior to the master's own work that Verrocchio never picked up a brush again. Around the same time, Da Vinci revolutionized painting. While working on his new piece The Annunciation, he realized that volume could be conveyed not only through perspective but also through soft, blurred contours and smooth tonal transitions. For comparison, take a look at how Leonardo's contemporary, Cima da Conegliano, portrayed the same scene. Leonardo called his technique sfumato. But Da Vinci's genius went beyond paint on canvas. More importantly, he understood how to guide the viewer's attention through carefully placed visual accents. That's why, even 5 centuries later, his works still captivate thousands of eyes. Drawing attention to key details, combining beauty and harmony, these principles are not only essential in visual arts but also in creating websites and applications. We all want to easily find the like button on our favorite apps and immediately understand how to leave a comment. Today, such user-friendly and intuitive interfaces are created by front-end developers, one of the most in-demand IT professions. If you've always felt you knew how to make your favorite sites better, dreamed of launching your own project, or simply wanted to master a new profession, then we highly recommend our friends at Hexlet and their front-end developer course. The training program is created by practicing developers, and for over 10 years, Hexlet graduates have been landing jobs at top tech companies. There's plenty of hands-on experience, over 400 exercises you can complete online right in your browser, with no waiting for manual checks. You'll tackle 150 real test assignments from companies. And throughout your studies, you'll build portfolio-ready projects. Every student gets support from mentors, practicing developers who regularly host webinars. Mentors also review students' projects and help bring them to the necessary quality. At the same time, you can study literally anytime. The platform is available 24/7. There are no rigid deadlines. Learn when and where it's convenient for you. Job placement for graduates is supported by a career track, a comprehensive system designed to help you define and pursue your career goals. You'll receive help preparing your portfolio and writing a resume. You'll go through mock interviews with a mentor, get help finding relevant vacancies, and even be referred to interviews at partner companies. Sounds great? Then follow the link in the description and submit your application. You can begin your journey into IT right now by starting with the free introductory materials for the profession. By the age of 24, Da Vinci was already well known in Florence. However, the public was talking not only about his artistic accomplishments. Leo in the big city. In 1476, the artist found himself in the middle of a scandal. An anonymous letter to the local vice squad accused Leonardo and 3 of his friends of sodomy. They were arrested and threatened with being burned at the stake. But after 2 months, no evidence of a crime was found, and the young men were released. According to legend, the case was quietly dropped because one of the accused belonged to the powerful Medici family. Even without evidence, rumors about Leonardo's orientation have persisted to this day. They are fueled by the surviving denunciation and numerous notes Da Vinci left about his pupils. In his writings, the artist recorded the lavish sums he spent on luxurious clothing for his favorite, Salai, and expressed awe at how the smile of his new protégé, Melzi, made him forget everything else. Incidentally, Da Vinci also spent quite a bit of money and attention on his own appearance. Today, we imagine him as a gray-haired old man in shapeless clothes. But in the 16th century, Leonardo seems to have been a true dandy. A charming gentleman, well-built, graceful, and attractive in appearance. He wore a pink cloak that reached to his knees, while at the time people usually wore long garments. Genius not for sale. That same year, 1476, Leonardo left Verrocchio's workshop and opened his own studio. It seems the scandal had, in fact, tarnished his reputation. Over the next 5 years, Da Vinci received only 5 commissions, and completed just 3 of them. Leonardo was never in a hurry to finish his paintings. Possibly for that reason, only about 20 artworks today are recognized as authentic works of the genius. According to contemporaries, although the artist worked from dusk till dawn, he would often spend hours staring at the canvas, brush in hand, without making a single stroke. Even during his lifetime, people described Leonardo da Vinci as an unreliable man, one who never finished anything on time. Historians believe that may be why he wasn't invited to paint the Sistine Chapel alongside other great masters. Frustrated and facing image problems, Leonardo made a bold move. He wrote what we'd now call a resume, describing himself primarily as a military engineer, architect, and designer, mentioning his talents as a sculptor and painter only at the end. There was a strategy behind this. Rulers were eager to invest in military innovations. With this in mind, Da Vinci sent his self-presentation to the court of Ludovico Sforza, the Duke of Milan. The gamble worked, and for the next 17 years, Leonardo lived and worked under the Duke's patronage. Engineer of the future. Strangely enough, a large part of Da Vinci's time in Sforza's service was spent organizing festivals, banquets, theatrical performances, and weddings. He was in charge of writing scripts, designing special effects, including pyrotechnics, and inventing complex mechanical devices used in the shows. Still, his role wasn't only to entertain the public. Leonardo had also pitched himself as a military engineer, but it appears that this part of his work met with little success. Most of his strange, and sometimes terrifying, inventions never left the drawing board. Although, according to some, the real reason for the lack of implementation was that the master's complex designs were far ahead of their time. Over 500 years ago, Leonardo described the concept of the first tank. I can build covered wagons, armored in iron, safe, reliable, and impenetrable. Equipped with cannons, they will storm into the enemy's ranks like a whirlwind. However, the idea never came to life due to an unresolved issue. Who would power the machine? Da Vinci also envisioned something akin to a machine gun, although in his concept, it resembled more of a multi-barrel volley cannon. Mounted on a rotating platform, it could have inflicted massive damage on enemy troops, provided it could be reloaded quickly. Perhaps the most terrifying invention was the scythe chariot, a horse-drawn cart equipped with huge rotating blades on both the front and rear. This idea, too, for unknown reasons, was never put into practice. On the other hand, Da Vinci also imagined Italian soldiers attacking enemy ships underwater, wearing bizarre suits. The concept proposed that the first divers would breathe through air tanks or special tubes that extended to the surface. Unfortunately, this revolutionary concept could never be tested in practice due to the lack of immediate naval threats. It seems that the only military invention actually realized in Leonardo's lifetime was the wheel-lock firing mechanism for firearms. He was the first to suggest igniting gunpowder not with a match or open flame, which soldiers had to find or carry, but with a spark generated inside the weapon itself using a tightly clamped flint. Over the next 2 centuries, this mechanism would become the standard in European armies. Leonardo also designed the prototype of the first flying machine, which he called the ornithopter. According to the design, the pilot would lift off using bird-like wings, which could span up to 12 meters, around 40 feet. By Da Vinci's calculations, the structure would weigh more than 40 kilograms, about 90 pounds. However, the materials of the time were too heavy and fragile to construct a working model. So he came up with the idea of a helical air screw, essentially an early version of a helicopter rotor. He envisioned strong men manually spinning a 5-meter, 16-foot blade. In the early 2000s, Judy Leedon, a world champion hang glider pilot from the UK, tested the ornithopter concept. Though she admitted the craft was impossible to control, she did manage to lift off to a height of 10 meters and stay in the air for 17 seconds. As for Da Vinci's helicopter, modern scientists say it will never fly. For men simply couldn't generate the thrust needed for liftoff. Fortunately for us, whether he wanted it or not, Leonardo still worked in the visual arts while serving the Sforza family in Milan. But behind his genius lay both failures and some rather disturbing details. What did the genius hide? Painting on dry plaster. In around 1495, Sforza commissioned Leonardo to paint the Last Supper on a wall of the Santa Maria del Grazie monastery. By tradition, Da Vinci was supposed to apply pigment to wet plaster before it dried. But as we know, haste was not Leonardo's strength. Refusing to be limited by the medium's constraints, the brilliant painter developed his own paint mixture and worked on a dry surface for 3 full years. The experiment had tragic results. Within just 20 years, the mural had faded and begun to decay. Flooding, botched restorations, and even bombing during World War II further damaged the artwork. Yet despite all that, the mural is still regarded as one of Da Vinci's greatest masterpieces, and references to it continue to appear in modern art and cinema. One of you will betray me. A multidisciplinary approach. To achieve realism, painters and art theorists throughout history have relied on the connection between nature and mathematical principles. The most influential concept came from Vitruvius, an ancient Roman architect, who claimed that the ideal proportions of the human body were defined by nature itself. For example, the span of outstretched arms. Could Da Vinci have used this knowledge to embed hidden codes in his work? Was he just a talented artist, or a master of symbolic storytelling who knew how to present himself?